You just did not know what it was called. That moment, somewhere between your first losing streak and your most recent one, when something inside you shifted, when the question stopped being, how do I make money trading, and became something heavier, something more honest, something that sounded like, is this even possible for me? That moment, that exact, specific, uncomfortable moment, that is the crossroads. Every trader reaches it. The beginner who just blew their first account, the intermediate trader who has been profitable for 3 months and then lost it all in 3 days, the experienced trader who knows everything, every pattern, every indicator, every strategy, and still cannot string together consistent results. They all arrive at the same place, same crossroads, same question, same 2 paths stretching out in front of them, and the path they choose in that moment, consciously or unconsciously, deliberately or by default, determines everything that happens next. Not the strategy they choose, not the indicator they add, not the course they buy or the mentor they find. The path, which one did you take? The crossroads nobody warned you about. When you started trading, someone told you about the learning curve. They told you it would be hard at first, that losses were part of the process, that consistency takes time, that you needed to pay your tuition to the market before the market would pay you. All of that is true. What they did not tell you is that the learning curve is not linear. It does not go steadily upward, harder at first, gradually easier, until one day you are profitable and the struggle is behind you. It breaks. At some point, for every trader, without exception, the learning curve reaches a cliff, a vertical drop, a moment where the strategies that were working stop working, where the progress that felt real turns out to have been luck, where the confidence that was building collapses into the most disorienting feeling a trader ever experiences, the feeling of not knowing whether to continue or stop. This is the crossroads, and it is not a moment of weakness. It is not a sign that trading is not for you. It is not evidence that you have failed. It is the most important moment of your trading career, because on the other side of the crossroads, for the traders who cross it correctly, is everything. Not easy profits, not guaranteed success, but the real, honest foundation of consistent profitability that the traders who turn back at the crossroads never discover. The 2 paths, described completely standing at the crossroads, 2 paths appear. They do not look dramatically different from where you stand. The wrong one is not obviously wrong. The right one is not obviously right. They look, from the outside, almost identical, both moving forward, both suggesting progress, both offering the possibility of becoming the trader you want to be. The difference is in what each path requires. The first path, the path of complexity. This path feels productive. It feels like growth. The trader who takes this path responds to the crossroads by doing more indicators, more strategies, more analysis, more courses, more screen time, more data, more systems, more tools. The logic seems sound. If what I have been doing is not working, I need something better, something more sophisticated, something I have not tried yet. And so the search begins. A new indicator that promises more accurate signals. A new strategy that has been back-tested to perfection. A new course from a trader with a better track record. A new combination of tools that produces the setup that this time, finally, definitively, will generate consistent results. This path is comfortable because it is always moving, always adding, always progressing, or feeling like progression. The trader on this path is never bored, never still, never forced to sit with the discomfort of uncertainty, because there is always something new to learn, something new to try, something new to blame when it does not work. This path goes in circles, not immediately, not obviously, but eventually, after enough indicators, enough strategies, enough courses, the trader on this path finds themselves back at the same crossroads, same losses, same confusion, same question, is this even possible for me? Only now they are 2 years older, and 3 accounts lighter, and more confused than ever, because they know more and are performing no better than the day they started. The complexity path does not lead forward. It leads in circles, expensive, exhausting, demoralizing circles. The second path, the path of simplicity. This path is uncomfortable from the first step, because the first step requires something that no course teaches and no indicator provides: honesty. The trader who takes this path responds to the crossroads not by doing more, but by stopping completely, by sitting with the discomfort of the question rather than running from it into the next strategy or the next course. And in that stillness, in that honest, uncomfortable silence, they ask a different question. Not, what strategy should I use? Not, which indicator is more accurate? Not, how do I make more money? But, what is it about the way I have been trading that has been producing these results? This question is terrifying, because it points the answer at the trader, not at the market, not at the strategy, not at bad luck or manipulation or unfair conditions, at the trader. And what the trader finds when they look honestly at themselves is not a knowledge gap. It is not a strategy gap. It is a behavior gap. The pattern of entering before the setup is complete. The habit of moving stop losses when they are about to be hit. The tendency to exit winning trades early and hold losing trades too long. The emotional cycle of overconfidence after wins and desperation after losses. These behaviors, not the strategy, not the indicator, not the time frame, are what produce the results, and behaviors can be changed. This path is harder than the complexity path. It requires confronting truths about yourself that the complexity path lets you avoid. It requires sitting with uncertainty rather than filling it with new tools. It requires patience, genuine, deep, uncomfortable patience, rather than the constant, forward motion that the complexity path provides. But this path goes forward, not in circles, forward, toward the actual, honest, sustainable profitability that exists on the other side of behavioral change. How to know which path you are currently on? Read these questions slowly. Answer them honestly. Not the answer that makes you feel better, but the answer that is true. Question 1. When your last strategy stopped working, when the losses started accumulating, and the wins dried up, what did you do? If your answer is, I looked for a new strategy, a new indicator, a new system, you are on the first path. If your answer is, I reviewed my trades and asked what I was doing wrong in my execution of the strategy, you are on the second path. Question 2. When you are in a losing trade that is approaching your stop loss, what happens? If your answer is, I feel the urge to move the stop, and sometimes I do, you are on the first path. If your answer is, I feel the urge to move the stop, and I close the platform rather than act on the impulse, you are on the second path. Question 3. How many trading strategies have you used in the last 12 months? If the answer is more than 2, you are on the first path. If the answer is 1, studied and followed with consistent discipline, you are on the second path. Question 4. When you review your losing trades, what do you blame? If your answer involves the market, the broker, manipulation, news events, or bad timing, you are on the first path. If your answer involves specific rule violations, emotional decisions, or execution errors that were within your control, you are on the second path. Most traders, reading these questions honestly, will recognize themselves in the first path. That recognition, that uncomfortable, honest, clear-eyed recognition, is not failure. It is the beginning of the second path. The traders who crossed the crossroads, what they all did. I have studied hundreds of trader journeys, successful ones, traders who went from consistent losses to consistent profits, not overnight, not magically, but through a specific, identifiable process. And every single one of them has one experience in common. They all hit the crossroads. They all faced the moment of profound doubt, the moment where continuing seemed irrational, and stopping seemed like the only sensible option. And they all did one specific thing that the traders who quit or keep circling do not do. They stopped adding and started subtracting. They removed indicators from their charts, not added more. They reduced the number of instruments they traded, not expanded their watch list. They simplified their entry criteria, not complicated it. They reduced their trading frequency, not increased it. They traded less, analyzed less, decided less, and they thought more. Specifically, they thought about why each trade they took was the trade they took, not what the indicator said, not what the pattern looked like. But why, on this specific day, at this specific moment, they decided to risk real money on this specific price movement. And in that thinking, in that slow, deliberate, uncomfortable examination of their own decision-making, they found the behaviors that were costing them money. Not strategies, not indicators, not time frames, behaviors. The entry taken 2 candles before the setup was complete, because impatience overrode the system. The stop-loss moved from its original placement, because loss aversion overrode the plan. The winning trade closed 20 pips before the target, because the fear of giving back profit overrode the rule. The revenge trade taken immediately after a loss, because the need to recover overrode rational judgment. These behaviors, found, named, examined, understood, and then, one by one, trade by trade, changed, not perfectly, not immediately, but directionally, consistently, with the clarity that comes from knowing exactly what you are working on, rather than searching for an external solution to an internal problem. This is what crossing the crossroads correctly looks like. Not more complexity, more honesty, not more tools, more self-awareness, not more strategies, more disciplined execution of the strategy you already have. The path forward, from the crossroads to consistency. If you recognize yourself at the bout, if you are reading this and feeling the weight of that familiar question, is this even possible for me? Here is the path forward. Not a strategy, not an indicator, a process. Step 1. Stop adding. Start auditing. Close every strategy you are currently testing. Open your trading journal, or create one if you do not have one. Go back through your last 50 trades. For each one, answer 3 questions. Did I follow my entry criteria exactly? Did I honor my stop loss without moving it? Did I hold the trade to my predefined target? Count the yes answers and the no answers. The ratio of no answers is not a measure of your trading knowledge. It is a measure of the execution gap, the distance between what you know to do and what you actually did under emotional pressure. That gap is your work, not more knowledge, not a better strategy. Closing the gap between what you know and what you do. Step 2. Choose one system. Commit completely. Pick one trading approach. Not the best one, not the most sophisticated one. One that is based on sound logic, trend following, support and resistance, price action, whatever resonates most naturally with how you see the market. Commit to trading only this system for 90 days. No additions, no modifications, no abandonment when it produces a losing streak. 90 days of one system, followed with complete fidelity, will tell you something that no backtesting ever can. It will tell you whether the system's results are limited by the system or by your execution. If after 90 days the system is producing consistent results, you have your system. Refine it carefully. If after 90 days the system is not producing consistent results, audit your execution first. The probability that you followed it with complete fidelity for 90 days and it still failed is significantly lower than the probability that the execution gap undermined it. Step 3. Build the behaviors, one trade at a time. Identify the one behavior that your audit revealed as your most costly, the single execution failure that appears most frequently in your losing trades. Focus on that one behavior for the next 30 trades, not all your behaviors, not your entire psychology, one behavior. Write it at the top of every trading session. Today I am working on specific behavior. Review every trade against this single standard. Did I exhibit this behavior, or did I correct it? 30 trades of focused attention on one behavior changes it. Not permanently, behavioral change requires ongoing reinforcement, but meaningfully, measurably, in a way that shows up in your results. Then move to the next most costly behavior. And the next. This is the path. Slow, deliberate, honest, but forward. Conclusion. The answer was never on the chart. The crossroads is not a question about strategy. It never was. It is a question about you, about who you are as a trader, not what you know, but how you behave under pressure, about whether you are willing to do the uncomfortable, unglamorous, deeply necessary work of examining and changing the behaviors that have been producing your results. The traders who walk away at the crossroads take their knowledge with them. They know the same things they knew before. They simply could not make the shift from knowledge to behavior, from understanding what to do, to actually doing it, under the emotional pressure of real money, in real markets. The traders who cross the crossroads correctly take nothing with them except clarity. They shed the complexity, the multiple strategies, the indicator collection, the search for the perfect system. They arrive on the other side lighter, simpler, more focused, and more profitable, because they finally understood what every successful trader eventually understands. The market was never the problem. The chart was never the answer. The crossroads was always, from the very beginning, a question about which version of yourself you were willing to become. You are at the crossroads right now. Which path will you take?